Mid-March, temperatures just above freezing, wind blowing around. That can only mean one thing. It's NACC baseball season, Illinois Tech home opener. Good afternoon and welcome to Glancy Field. My name's Aaron Schellen, and for the next two games, I've got a special guest sitting to my left. Former Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawk catcher David Cooper. David, thanks for spending some time with me today.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Happy to have you along, and we talked about this before the game. I always love getting a kind of a catcher's insight on things. You know, catchers are supposed to be the smartest guys out there on the field, so looking forward to having you with me here for the next two games. So we'll kick things off here, game one. Illinois Tech against the Edgewood Eagles, and on the mound here for game one for the Scarlet Hawks is Cameron Bracewell, and I know you caught him a couple dozen times in your career. How do you know when Cam is locked in?
Yeah, so there's a couple things to look for to know if Cam's going to have a good day. Cam will showcase a four-seam fastball, a slider, which is now his primary breaking pitch. He also has a curveball and a changeup. So when I'm looking for Cam's success, he needs to get that fastball to the outer third of the plate. When he leaks it over the middle, that's when it gets hit hard, and that's a mistake pitch. And then also being able to land that breaking ball for a strike. So if he can land the slider and or curveball for a strike consistently and put that fastball in the outer half, he's going to have a very good day today.
We had a good game against these Eagles a year ago. We'll take a look at those stats here in just a minute. But first, we'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Edgewood Eagles, coming 4-7 on the season. This is TJ Tolliver batting leadoff and playing center field. Dominic Lee is the designated hitter batting second. Jacob Carney will bat third and play first. Kyle Prindle is the shortstop hitting cleanup. Brevin Brisick is in right field hitting fifth. Daniel Bentavegana will bat sixth and play second. Ryan Harris in left field batting seventh. Colby Davis hits eighth and does the catching, and Hayden Hellenbrand will bat ninth and play third. Both teams 4-4 coming into play here today. Last year, Illinois Tech 24-18, 17-7 in NACC play. Edgewood 20-20 last year, 14-10. They came in fourth. Illinois Tech came in third, and you were telling me before the game, this is quite a way to start the NACC schedule against the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
That ball's
That's a way to start the game, too.
Lined into the right field corner by Tolliver. He's going to run for a while. Freddie Swingle over there and plays that ball in the corner. So it's a leadoff double here by TJ Tolliver in the top of the first.
Yeah, and you can already hear the Edgewood bench very loud. Like I was mentioning to you before the game, it's a bit of a rivalry between these two teams over the past couple of years. So starting off the NAC season, you know, meaningful games here in conference now with this rivalry is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, and you always want to get off to a good start no matter who you're playing, right? In conference play, you always want to start 1-0 versus 0-1, but to do it against a team that you consider a pretty intense rival, that probably means just a little bit more.
Right.
And
both teams that have competed, you know, for rankings in the NAC, made the NAC postseason the last couple of years, so very meaningful games here to get us started.
This is Dominic Lee, the designated hitter, hitting .375 here in the early going. No home runs, 9 knocked in. It's 1-1 here on Lee. Bracewell, 0-1 on the year. ERA just about 6.5, but his last start against Farmingdale State was his best of the year so far. 6 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. He struck out 7. Looked more kind of like what we saw from Bracewell a year ago, David, when he, you know, almost every start he was giving you 6, giving you 7, throwing up 8, 9, 10 strikeouts. He was truly the Hawks ace a year ago.
Yeah, he definitely was, and they're going to rely on him to be the same guy this year, no doubt about that.
The 1-2 here on Lee. It's popped out of play, and you mentioned before the game, you know, this is basically just a pitching rematch of last year. Cameron Bracewell going for the Scarlet Hawks, Drew Lenz for Edgewood. Good game for Cam last year against these guys.
Yeah, it was a pitching battle last year. Cam only gave up 2 runs through 7, and I think Cam only gave up 1 run, through 7, and Drew gave up 2 through 6. So it was definitely a pitching duel. We'll see if this one plays out the same way. Good
start here for Bracewell as he strikes out Lee, looking for the first out here in the top of the first. Now it's the first baseman, Jacob Carney, a .342 hitter, has a home run, 11 knocked in. First pitch is rolled over to the right side. There's Bovey. He'll toss it to first, and 2 outs. Over to third goes Tolliver. Defensively for Illinois Tech here in Game 1 on the infield, third to first. Jack Finch will get the start at third. Jack Fryer at short. The aforementioned Matt Bovey at second, Michael Paxson at first. In the outfield, left to right, Timmy Old, Luke Yaknin, Freddie Swingle. And we'll talk more about it in the bottom of the first inning, but the Scarlet Hawks get a much-needed boost to their lineup here with the return of Tyler Gutzfeld. Hasn't played in about a month. He'll get the start here at DH today, but having his bat back in the lineup is going to be huge for this lineup.
Yeah, they won't miss his glove too much in center field. He's obviously a great center fielder, but Luke Yaknin out there in center today is also extraordinary. So, good day to keep him on the DH.
Yeah, especially with the weather the way it is. This ball is blooped down the left field line, and you can just see the wind push that thing from fair territory over to the bullpen down there in left field. So just a long foul ball here on Kyle Prindle, the shortstop, a .359 hitter. He has a home run as well, 7 knocked in. And, yeah, that wind is blowing straight in from left field. So you said it, try to keep the ball on the ground today.
Yeah, keeping the ball out of the air is going to be the name of the game today, unless this wind dies down. Which
it never does.
Never.
Not this time of year, anyway. The 1-1 is fastball upstairs, 2-1.
Camp's been throwing really well so far. Been getting ahead of pitchers, getting some weak contact early in counts. So a good start for him.
Got a runner at third with 2 outs. TJ Tolliver led off the inning with a double. He's now at third with 2, and it's a 2-1 count here on Prindle. Missing away, 3 balls, 1 strike. Jack Fryer way up the middle at short. For the 3-1 is on the outside corner. Good pitch right at the knees.
Yeah, that's the spot that if he's dialed in, he'll just throw it there over and over, and it's almost impossible to hit.
Count's gone full here, top of the first. Just underway here, doubleheader. Bracewell set with the 3-2. And he deals another pop foul.
It's that same spot there, and I mean, you saw that swing that he took. That's just a defensive swing. I don't want to hit that. I just want to foul that off.
Just live to see another pitch, right?
Live to see another pitch. Hope he makes a mistake. That's right.
We'll do another 3-2 pitch. Bracewell to Prindle. And that's right there. Yep, called strike 3. So you said it. He lived on that outside corner 3 pitches in a row. Picks up 2 strikeouts in the top of the first. Half an inning in the books. Eagles nothing. Scarlet Hawks coming up. Back here, bottom of the first, Illinois Tech will get their first whacks at Drew Lenz, the 6', 230-pound righty. And this is the lineup he'll face in the NAC opener for Illinois Tech. Jack Fryer, the shortstop, will bat leadoff. Tyler Gutzfeld, the designated hitter in his first game since March 15th, will bat second. Michael Paxson, the first baseman, hits third. Philip Bentz does the catching and bats cleanup. Jack Finch bats fifth, plays third. Matt Bovey at second base hits sixth. Freddie Swingle is the right fielder here in Game 1, batting seventh. Luke Yaknin out in center, batting eighth. And Timmy Old will bat ninth and play left field against Drew Lenz, who's 2-0 on the year, an ERA 5.6. 24 hits allowed and just under 18 innings of work. 9 strikeouts, only 4 walks. So looks like we might see a lot of strikes thrown in this game between Bracewell and Lenz. Neither pitcher walks a lot of hitters. It's 1-1 here on Jack Fryer. And he'll punch it out to left center field. A diving attempt out there by Ryan Harris, and that'll get down for a base hit. And Jack Fryer, as Jack Fryer does, is pretty pumped. I don't think Eric and I were talking about this during that opening doubleheader out in Wheaton. I don't think I've ever seen somebody so energetic from pitch 1 till the final pitch of the game than the Illinois Tech shortstop.
He has an unnatural amount of enthusiasm for baseball, to say the least. But his spirit is a big part of the team culture these days, with just how energetic that he is, and it's infectious in the dugout. And so you always want a guy like that on your roster. Especially
given, last year he played every game as a freshman at shortstop. He was very, very good defensively. That bat lagged a little bit behind it, but that bat is picked up this year as well. So he's got that infectious personality, but he's also leading with his performance on the field.
Definitely. You just saw it in that last AB. Last year, Jack was basically not swinging until 2 strikes and goes after a pitch early in the count there and gets a base hit to start off the game. Those are the type of jumps that you see freshman and sophomore year in key players in your lineup, so it's good to see that out of Jack Fryer.
What is the hardest part? That transition from year 1 to year 2?
The transition gets a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But it's mainly understand that, because freshman year is just figuring out who you are as a collegiate baseball player, because it's so much different than high school. And then making that jump into sophomore year is you've kind of figured out your identity. You kind of know who you are as a hitter.
Gutzfeld, high and deep to right. First at bat in a month, and he launches it to right. His 4th home run of the season. And Illinois Tech has jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Welcome back, Tyler Gutzfeld.
You know what? We were saying you got to keep the ball out of the air today, but if Guts just wants to hit blasts over the short porch and right, then that'll work too.
That'll work. Yeah, absolutely. So Tyler's first at bat since March 15th. Second pitch he sees over that fence and right, and he hits his 4th home run of the season. Drives in runs 11 and 12 and gives the Scarlet Hawks an early lead. So he missed a month, still leads the team in home runs and RBIs. So it just shows you how valuable he is to this team from an offensive perspective. Here's Michael Paxson. That bat started to come alive here for Paxson over the last handful of games as well. 438 on the season for the senior. Hit his first home run in Illinois Tech's last game, his first home run of the season. He's driven in 4.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start from Paxson, but reports are, and looking at the scorecards, that he really started to get a hang of it down in Florida, put up a lot of multi-hit games, put up that home run like you mentioned. So we're looking forward to seeing Paxson back to form. He's both him and Guts all region players last year.
Yep.
So they're going to be very key parts in the Illinois Tech lineup, and you already saw Guts, and we're gonna see Paxson the rest of the day. So
yeah, you definitely with some losses offensively. Connor Blake obviously now in the dugout as a coach. Losing some of the offensive threats as Paxson goes down swinging here for the first out here in the first. You need those veterans to step up around some of the younger players. And
definitely, when you lose an All-American, you're going to turn to your 2 all-regional guys to fill that hole, right?
Absolutely,
as well as some other pieces in the lineup that we'll see.
Here's the catcher, Philip Bentz. Bentz 294 on the year, looking for his first home run. He's got 5 knocked in. So what was the relationship like between you and the other catchers last year?
Great. The catchers are a brotherhood almost, and you could say that's true about all the positional groups, like the infielders are a brotherhood, the outfielders are a brotherhood, just because you spend so much time together. So, some of my best friends coming out of college are the catchers that I spent every day with.
Healthy competition, right? Like, you want to be, I know you want to be out there playing every day, but at the same time, you're in a position where you can be happy for your teammates when they succeed, and
definitely,
and so that healthy competition breeds that friendship, I guess. As this ball's hit to the right side, that's off the glove of Benta Vegna, and that'll be, I don't know if that's going to go in the books as a hit or an error, but either way, Bentz will reach first. Looks like it's going to be a hit for Philip Bentz. Now Jack Finch, the third baseman today, and he had some good things to say about Jack before the game. He saw the starting lineup, saw that he was getting the start over there, the freshman from Massachusetts, and what have you seen from him this year?
Jack's been good. He's been good glove at third base, when they're trying to find a good glove over there. And Jack Finch has also been a surprising bat, like you said, pretty high average, especially for a freshman. So that's something, between him and Philly Benz that Ed Zeiford's trying to really tap into. And obviously they're batting high in the lineup here behind Paxton and Guts. So looking for a lot of offensive output from those two freshmen, and they've been able to put up some good numbers so far this season.
And I think Jack Fryer proved last year that if you can field your position, that Coach Zeiford will have a home for you in that lineup every day, right?
Right, especially on the infield. Especially in collegiate baseball where there's so many balls hit on the ground, you got to collect those outs. So if you can glove it up, then you'll be all right.
1-2, the runner takes off, and into second base is Bentz with a stolen base.
That's also a really good sign out of a freshman catcher, someone that can swipe bags. In my time, I didn't steal a lot of bags.
You didn't steal a lot of bags?
I didn't steal a lot of
You were the
bases.
prototypical catcher, huh?
Yeah.
Now, were you given the green light?
No.
No, you weren't even given the green light to go?
Well, early in my career, I would have green lights, and then I got thrown out a bunch, and so they were like,
no more green lights.
We're not going to do that anymore.
Because what I'm seeing more now is coaches are, everybody has the green light unless you don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not so much you're over there at third base and you're given the green light. You have the green light unless you get the signal that you don't have the green light. You were one of those.
I was at, we don't have the green light on.
Bloop to center. The catch is made there, and Bentz, I don't know if he lost track of outs or lost track of the ball, but Tolliver makes the catch, flips it to the second baseman, and it's a 8-4 double play to end the top of the first. But Illinois Tech picks up a couple on the home run from Tyler Gutzfeld, and inning in the books. Scarlet Hawks up 2-0. Top of the second, Aaron Schellen alongside former Scarlet Hawk David Cooper. And David, first conference game of the season. What's kind of the thought process in the 10 to 12 games that you're playing prior to conference play? Is it just getting your timing down? What are you trying to do in those non-conference games?
Yeah, from a player's perspective, you're trying to feel as good as possible going into those games, right? And then you also might be a player that's fighting for playing time, right? And so, the viewers that have been watching over the past 10 games or so, you see players go in and out of the rotation, in and out of the lineup. There's been a lot of shuffling in the outfield, shuffling at third base. So those players, with the limited opportunities they have, there's a lot of pressure that they put on themselves just to perform, to get the starting nod in conference play when it really matters.
It's a fly ball hit pretty well to right. Swingle is there, though, and he'll make the running catch for the first out here in the second inning. Yeah, the games matter, right? It's not spring training in the true sense of the word like it is in the major leagues, where they reset once the season starts. Ultimately the games count, the games matter, the stats matter, the stats count. So, hey, you want to be successful, you want to make it. Especially you talked about the young players, making an early name for themselves in front of the coaching staff. This is popped over by the Illinois Tech dugout onto the dugout and out of play. So, yeah, 4-7 in the first 11 games. I know you're probably not. You would obviously prefer to win, but you're not really looking at the records in those non-conference games. You're just trying to get yourself ready for these games that matter.
Right. You want to make sure your rotation's in a good spot, your lineup's in a good spot. And that's what they've been able to figure out.
And Dave Vigna will sky it out to right field. Another chance for Swingle, another catch for Freddie. So 2 quick outs here in the second. So after that leadoff double by Tolliver off Bracewell, Cam has settled down here. 5 in a row retired. Couple of strikeouts, looking more and more like the Cameron Bracewell from a year ago.
Definitely.
And you could sort of see it in that. I called his first start out in Wheaton, and you could see that he was just off a little bit with his control and wasn't putting the pitches exactly where he wanted them. And fatigue set in that 5th inning, and you could just tell that he wasn't locked in yet.
Yeah, definitely game one. His first start of the year, right? And what I saw from him through the stream was fastball was in the zone, the breaking ball was not, and when he only has the fastball in the zone, then it makes it really easy for the hitters to be like, okay, I'm going to wait for a fastball and then hit it. So you've been able to see that. We talked about it earlier. So far, Cam's been able to get that fastball away and put the slider in the zone. And there's another fastball away right there.
Another fly ball to Freddie Swingle. And Swingle was 3 for 3 that inning. So good defensive inning for Swingle. A quick 1-2-3 top of the second for Cam Bracewell. Bottom of inning 2, Illinois Tech up 2-0 here in the NAC opener against the Edgewood Eagles. Illinois Tech scored a couple of runs on Tyler Gutzfeld's 4th home run of the season. Leading off for the Scarlet Hawks here in the second inning will be Matt Bovee, and I like Matt's game. I talked about this in the opener out in Wheaton, and I like the way his approach is at the plate. Doesn't hit for a high average, but he only swings at his pitches. He's perfectly content taking a walk, and again, solid defensively.
Yeah, he's kind of become a staple, second baseman. That's not one of the positions that was really up for grabs, right? He's an anchor in that lineup, and they really like what he does.
He bunts it right to the pitcher, Lenz, right there. So first out of the second inning. Another right fielder, Freddie Swingle, who's been right in the thick of things so far with 3 putouts already. He'll bat 7th, play right field. He's 2 for his first 9 this year with a double. Swingle, the junior from Chula Vista, and I can't imagine as he hits this off the glove of the first baseman, Jacob Carney, into shallow right field. Swingle will hold up at first with a single. And, I've lived in the north my whole life. I've lived in these temperatures my whole life. I don't care how long you play in these types of temperatures. If you're from California, this has got to be a challenge.
It's a challenge for the players that are from, very warm climates, right? So some of my roommates are from Texas, and it's a big shock to them. Like usually after the first year, they get more used to it.
Yeah.
But I would say there's never a level of
comfort.
Yeah, comfort.
Yeah.
there's still a much level higher of discomfort than people that grew up in Chicago and in the Midwest.
Yeah, I can't imagine. March rolls around in Texas or Florida or Arizona or something, and it's 65, 70 degrees out. It's sunny, and you can play baseball year round.
Yeah, they'll play all through the winter because it's warm enough to.
That'd be culture shock to come out here and it's 40 degrees with 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing in and.
Right. Yeah, those players that come from those warmer states, they've never had an indoor practice in their entire life. And, here, especially before like the season opener beginning of March, it's very rare that collegiate teams will actually get outside in the Midwest to practice, and it's all got to be inside.
2-0 off the end of the bat to Yaknin, and that will roll foul. So Luke, the starting center fielder today, had a good game against Hope last time out, 3 for 5 with 3 runs scored, and again, out there for his defense. He's hitting the ball pretty well this year, 7 for his first 21, has a home run, but he's out there for that D, and when you talk about the infield defense, that center fielder's got to be the guy, right? He's got to be that one who's communicating, taking charge out there, somebody you can trust.
Right. What I see in a young Luke Yaknin is a young Sam Sproul.
Okay,
that's
all right.
What I see. I mean, he's a guy that's really fast.
The ball gets away from Davis. Swingle will steal second base. Second stolen base of the game for the Scarlet Hawks. First of the year for Freddie. He's in scoring position with 1 out and a 2-2 count here on Yaknin. That's high praise.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that will put the ball in play.
Okay.
He can run really fast, so he can generate a lot. In games that he's going to go 3 for 5, 2 of them are going to be infield singles, right? And so that's very, very similar to Sam Sproul's gameplay.
There's a strikeout of Yaknin, second for Lenz. Yeah, I mean, Sam lived on those infield hits, those bunt singles, and he almost always turned them into doubles, right? If he was on first, he was probably going to be on second before too long. It's 2 outs, runner at second here for Timmy Old.
Yeah, what I'm seeing from Drew here is that when he can get that slider on that outside part of the plate, kind of falls out of the zone there against right-handed hitters, that's where he's generating the strikeouts, like on Yaknin and Paxson. So definitely looking for him to.
That ball diving away from the right-handers.
You're trying to protect. It looks like a strike, and then all of a sudden it's not a strike anymore.
Right. Umpire calls time, I think, asking Lenz to wait for that hitter to get into the box and get set. Old 5 for his first 24 this season. Getting the start out in left field here today. He'll punch it foul.
Yeah, Timmy's never afraid to go a little bit slower.
Takes his time in the box.
Yeah, around the team, he's called a jangler in terms of he's always the last one out of the locker room.
Okay. So he just takes his time, just generally speaking.
Yeah, just in all facets of life. So, no surprise he doesn't jump right into the box.
Without the pitch clock here, you can do that. He can take his time.
Yeah, definitely first pitch to the AB, he's allowed to get set, right? So.
Got an 0-1 count on him here with Swingle at second, 2 outs in the second. Lenz fires, pitch up and in. 1-1. Top of the order, Jack Fryer due up next. Scarlet Hawks up 2-0. In case you missed it, Tyler Gutzfeld, his first game since the 15th, hit a ball over the fence out in right field for a home run. Old fouls it back, so 1-2 now on Timmy.
That's a good pitch there. Fastball on the very lower outer corner of the plate. Not much that Timmy's going to be able to do with that. Just fouls it away.
Feels like that's where most, if pitchers are going to have a lot of success, that's where it's going to be, right? Like down and away, right at the knees.
Yeah, I mean, if you're throwing below 85, you have to throw there to miss barrels. Right. Now, if we see John Gorey later, John Gorey can just fire in 89 wherever he wants. He's just trying to beat guys.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, most of the playbook, especially for righty on righty with lower velo guys, is get that fastball low and away. It takes a very disciplined hitter and a very disciplined swing to be able to, poke that into right field, and that's really all you're going to be able to do with it.
The 1-2 now to Old. Len's long look. Pitch. And he gets him swinging. Breaking ball. Third strikeout for Len's. Couple in the inning. Scarlet Hawks strand a runner at second. 2 in the books. Illinois Tech up 2-0. Top of inning 3, Scarlet Hawks with a 2-0 lead. Cameron Bracewell, 2 shutout innings so far, a couple of Ks, only 25 pitches to get through those first 2 innings. David, he's throwing strikes, he's around the plate, and so far Edgewood has made a lot of weak contact to the opposite side.
He has been very efficient, getting his pitches where he wants and generating early outs in counts, which is something you want to see out of your starter.
First pitch to Colby Davis, especially when you're playing 2, right? You don't want to tax that bullpen in game 1.
Yeah, definitely not. They should be pretty well rested. I mean, their last game, they played 1 against Hope Wednesday morning.
Fastball on the inside corner to Davis, called a strike. Colby 4 for his first 14 this year, 286, 1 knocked in. There's another fastball. So he goes inside then outside with those 2 fastballs, and he's painting the corners right now. Ground ball under the glove of Bracewell, fielded by Bovey. Matt across his body, and Paxton isn't able to pick it. Backing it up is Bent. So it'll be an infield single for Colby Davis. Bovey ranging really far to his right. Fielded that on the shortstop side of the bag. Made a close play.
Yeah, I thought that was going to actually sneak through, but Bovey kind of just came out of nowhere, grabbed it, threw it over there.
Now Hayden Hellenbrand, the third baseman, 279 hitter. Team leader in RBI. He's got 14 out of the number 9 hole. Squares to bunt, pulls it back, fastball away, 1-0.
So something that's prototypical about how Edgewood plays the game is they're very aggressive in terms of stealing bases. So it'll be interesting to see how many guys they green light today.
Pitch is popped foul. 28 steals so far in just 11 games, so to your point. Colby Davis, 1 steal and 1 attempt this year. Both of these teams run quite a bit, though.
Yeah, very aggressive. I would say by far, in the years that I played in the NAC, Edgewood and Illinois Tech take way more bases than the other teams. It's part of their strategy. They practice it, they work on it, they take a lot of bags. Get a lot of outs on the base path too, as I'm sure we'll see some today. But if you can steal at a 70% clip, then you're putting runners in scoring positions.
It's putting pressure on the defense, right, to make the right play, to make there's a bunt down the first base line, and it's a good bunt, stays right on the line. Nice accurate throw by Bentz. Down to second goes Colby Davis.
Yeah, Philly B, a little bit of hesitation there because it kind of just rode on the line, and he was watching it for a little bit just to see if it was going to go foul, and eventually he just had to decide to pick it up and throw it to first.
Got to make the play eventually.
Able to get him in time, so that was fortunate.
Davis at second now with one out for TJ Tolliver. Tolliver doubled leading off the game, was stranded at third base. He came in hitting just 179 this year, 7 for his first 39. That double was his first extra base hit of the season, and you'll see the first pitch over on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, that one was a changeup, really well placed. I don't think they want to feed him another fastball after what happened last time.
That one missing away, 1-1.
Yeah, it was another one that just got a little bit away from him.
And you see the strategy, though, right? I mean, Bracewell is really he's attacking the outside part of the plate against both lefties and righties.
Right, and with multiple pitches.
There's the fastball cut on and missed, and that's a hard pitch to turn on. That fastball at the waist on the outside corner, you're not going to hook that down the right field line.
Well, he just got him off time there because he had just seen 2 changeups that are a little bit slower, and then speeds him up, elevates it a little bit, and you get the swing and miss.
1-2. Tried the same thing, that fastball. Are you of the mindset if you can get him to swing at a fastball on the outside corner, at the belt, is your next pitch 6 inches higher? Does that strategy still hold?
Yeah, it can be. It just and kind of how I would really think about it, especially being in where the catcher is you can see the guy's swing path, and you can really understand where their barrel is and where the ball is. And
okay.
So with Oliver here, you're seeing a lower barrel path, and he's getting the bottom of that high fastball in the outside corner. So when I'm seeing that, I'm saying, yeah, let's keep hitting that spot.
Let's elevate a little bit
and make him keep his hands above the baseball there.
2-2. That's roped into right field. That's trouble. It gets down for a hit. Goes all the way to the wall. Coming in to score is Colby Davis, and Tolliver with another double. This one of the RBI variety, and it's 2-1. And David, I think you saw it there. That ball stayed down, I think, a little bit more than what we were talking about, right into that swing path.
Yep. Yeah, went back to the changeup after a couple of high fastballs and just leaked it over the middle of the plate, lower part of the zone, and just right into the barrel.
Tolliver, good start to the doubleheader for him. 2 for 2, couple of doubles. He's at second base with one out. Dominic Lee struck out looking in the first inning. One of 2 strikeouts for Bracewell so far. First pitch tipped foul, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. Here, top 3. Runner at second. Stays high, 1-1.
I think that's the first breaking ball we've seen him throw to a lefty so far today.
1 ball, 1 strike. In the dirt, blocked nicely by Bentz. 2-1.
Something that I've seen from Philly B in the early days of his career as a young freshman that's got a lot of time behind the plate is that he's very defensively solid, able to block the ball really well, receives the ball very well, and throws the ball well.
Runner takes off for third. The ball's popped out of play. I would think, and you lived this, so you'll be able to tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I would think when it comes to the catcher position, that defense lags behind the offense. I would think learning how to play catcher and learning how to catch a pitching staff, that to me feels like that would be harder to learn than how to stand up there and swing the bat. Ground ball to the right side, Bovee. 2 outs, over to third goes Tolliver.
Yeah, so as far as catching goes, there's a lot more growing you have to do on the defensive side of the game just because there's so many different facets of the game. And so it's, when you're a hitter, you're just kind of lumped in with all the other hitters, right?
Yeah.
And then as a catcher, usually, even at the major league level, you'll see that catchers are not usually big offensive output type of guys. And that's because, a lot of things that we have to do at practice is, we got to catch guys, you got to work with the pitchers, you got to work on all those defensive aspects of the game. And so there's a lot more attention, just on the day-to-day that goes into the defensive side, to answer your point. Which honestly kind of draws a little bit from
the that makes sense.
Offensive output of the position, but that's more so just because defense is so important.
Yep.
I mean, like Philly B blocking that ball there is the difference between a run.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely.
It's a game-tying run on third base. So.
Yeah, that's why you go back in Major League history and you look at the greatest catchers of all time. They're somehow able to combine that defensive ability. You get Pudge Rodriguez, or
right.
They're able to combine that defensive ability with the offensive ability. Most catchers, you're considered the sort of the I'm born and raised in Boston, so I'm a Red Sox fan, and for me, it's Jason Varitek is one of the greatest catchers I've ever watched, and he was above average with the bat, but he was so good at just controlling the staff and managing the pitchers and what to throw and when to throw it, and the controlling the running game. Like those are the things that are important. As there's an opposite field base hit for Jacob Carney, driving home TJ Tolliver, and we got a brand new ball game here in the third.
Yeah, we've been talking about that outside pitch a lot that Cam's been trying to throw. Put the fastball in the outside corner where he wanted to there, and just kind of like a half swing, just a poke to get it through the hole with 2 outs and score the RBI. So a good piece of offensive work there.
Yeah, Carney, a 340 hitter, just dropped the head of the bat on it. Not even a full follow through on his swing. Squaring to bunt, the throw down to second, not in time. Carney will steal a bag. That's his third of the year. So he's in scoring position with 2 outs. Prindle struck out looking to end the first. Comes up with Carney at second, 2 outs here, top of the third. Fastball away, 2-0. Squaring to bunt again, taking it high, 3-0. Bracewell hasn't walked anybody yet. Couple of strikeouts, both in that first inning. Edgewood's gotten to him for a couple on 3 hits here in the top of inning 3. And he walks Prindle on 4 pitches.
It's been a longer inning for Cam. You're starting to see some fatigue set in a little bit.
It's still early, right? This is, I think, his 4th start of the season, so you're probably starting to round into shape from an endurance point of view, but still just his 4th start of the year.
Right, and even his pitch count's not crazy high yet, to where he's needs to think about getting out of the game. But just when you're throwing 30 pitches an inning, you're out there for a long time, so. It's much easier when you can throw 15, go take a break, and then throw 15 more, right?
Right. You talk about stress pitches, right? Like you can throw 80 pitches in 5 innings, but if there aren't runners on base and you're just throwing 16, 17 pitches an inning, that's different. You come out here and you're forced to throw 35 in an inning because he gave up 3 runs and walked a couple batters. It's a lot more stressful on that arm.
Yep, makes it more challenging. Makes it challenging on the defense, too, because those guys are just all sitting out there, wasting away.
Bracewell's at 53 pitches right now. He was only at 25 coming into the inning, so to your point, 28 pitches here in the third. The 1-1. Runners go. Bentz with the throw down to third, and out at third is Jacob Carney. Bentz with the gun down to third, and the Eagles will run themselves out of the top of the third, but they tied at 2. Bottom 3 coming up. Bottom of the third, 2-2. Illinois Tech scored a couple of runs in the bottom of the first. Edgewood got those two back in the top of the third, so 3-3 here. Jack Fryer will lead things off for the Scarlet Hawks here in inning 3. Fryer led off the game with a single, came home to score on the Gutzfeld home run. Talk about Jack's improvement last year, hit 199 this year, that average up north of 260 right now. Fastball away.
Yeah, that's a big jump. And he also jumped up a lot of spots in the lineup, obviously batting leadoff here. And I really like Jack batting leadoff. You know, he's a quick guy. He's going to put the ball in play, and he also is a menace with 2 strikes. I mean, he'll just foul pitches off, take pitches until the cows come home. So he's a guy that's going to drive up pitch counts, get on base a lot for you. So I'd like to see him, you know, in that transition from freshman to sophomore year, take that leadoff role.
It led the team in walks last season out of usually either the number 8 or number 9 hole. He and Bovey were at the bottom of that lineup, just getting on base, setting the table for the top of the lineup. And, you know, maybe this year some of those walks turn into hits, right, and, you know, that average goes up, the slugging goes up as he takes the 3-0 pitch over for a strike. A little bit extra base power for Jack this year, 3 doubles and a triple already. So yeah, that bat definitely coming along with a glove that has been solid since day one. And you know, he's getting the trust here from Coach Z. As you said, he's moved into that leadoff spot here. And you know, you like a guy with his kind of energy batting leadoff, right? Set the tone right away.
Yeah, it's, you know, when we saw in the bottom of the first when he got that single and then he's on first and he's screaming and shouting, like that's how you want to start off a ball game.
Absolutely. So it's 3-0 to 3-2 here. The payoff pitch now from Lenz to Fryer. Grounded to short. Prindle across his body in time to retire Jack. One away here in the third. Now Gutzfeld. And you gotta wonder with the way Tyler's been swinging the bat here in the early going. If you're Lenz, do you give him anything?
Not with one on, nobody on.
Right.
I wouldn't throw anything. I would maybe throw some backdoor sliders. We haven't seen Drew throw a changeup at all today. I've only seen a fastball and a slider.
Well, he throws it to Gutzfeld, and Tyler hits a line drive right on the button, but Brisick's able to make the catch out in right field. So on the screws, as they say, but just found a glove.
That was not the game plan that we just talked about.
No.
He made a mistake pitch and just threw a fastball over the heart of the plate and, hit well. But that's how baseball goes sometimes.
Yep. And you get these dribblers up the line in the box score. I like to say they look like line drives, and sometimes you get those where you hit them 350 feet on the button, and it ends up in a glove. Michael Paxton, he struck out swinging his first time up. Even with that strikeout, he's 10 for his last 20 at the plate. So you talked about how he started to get hot down in Florida. Numbers certainly bear that out. 0-1, back up the middle, and it's under the glove of Prindle, so there's a base hit for Michael Paxton.
Yeah, Edgewood definitely has the playbook on Paxton. They threw him 2 off-speed pitches right there. The thing with Paxton and breaking balls is if you make a mistake with that breaking ball, it's going a long way.
Right.
But if you can get that lower in the zone, you'll induce a lot of swing and miss like we saw in his first AB, and that one just kind of over the middle, bottom half of the plate there, and Pax's just able to find a hole. We call those seeing eye singles.
That's right. Again, in the box score, though, it's a screaming line drive.
It's a line drive.
Here's Bentz. He reached on an E4 his first time up.
That was an A move from Drew, and Paxton was about 1 step off first base.
Yep. That didn't take many steps off the bag, no. Bentz, a sharp line drive out to center. Tolliver barely has to move, and he makes the catch. So a couple of hard-hit balls in that inning go for outs. Third of the way home in game 1, 2-2. Top 4-2. It'll be Brevin Brisick, Daniel Bentavegna, and Ryan Harris. That's 5-6-7 against Cameron Bracewell. First pitch hooked down the left field line. Just foul into the corner as that ball was given a ride by Brisick, but it's just a long strike. You can be thankful for the wind on that one.
Yeah, saved by the wind.
So 0-1. Brisick flew out to right, one of 3 straight hitters in the second inning to fly out to Freddie Swingle. The 0-1. Fastball upstairs. Bracewell looking for a bounce-back inning. Gave up a couple of runs on 3 hits. Threw more pitches in the third inning than he did in the first and second combined. So trying to settle in here in the fourth. The 1-1. It's popped foul. So we were talking in between innings about your year last year and how you missed some time. How do you stay engaged with the team and just kind of with the way with the season when you want, because you missed most of the conference schedule? How do you stay engaged with the club?
Well, there's this is something a lot of people don't know, but in the dugout there's a lot of roles besides just playing the game. There's a lot of people charting, a lot of people keeping track of all sorts of different numbers, and so I was in charge of tracking the pitchers.
Okay.
So I would stand next to Cantlin, who's the pitching coach for Illinois Tech, and as that ball is popped into foul territory, but Paxton's able to bring it in, roaming over to his left. That'll be the first out for Cameron. But last year I was standing next to Ryan, and we would sit there and strategize, how to go after different hitters, and I would track how the different pitchers had performed against each hitter. It was like keeping a book, so to speak, but like a little bit more specialized towards what we were trying to track, and that's how I stayed engaged. I really enjoyed it also, just because that's my favorite part of the game, as that one's also popped up over to Bovey. Bovey's calling him off, and it was exactly where Paxton was standing, but Bovey will take priority and bring it in. So 2 flyouts, and Cam's making quick work here in the fourth.
Yeah, 2 quick outs is probably the most important thing, right? Only 5 pitches so far to retire those first two batters. So you enjoyed that. I guess that makes sense as a catcher, kind of enjoying that strategy side of things. First pitch fastball cut on and missed by Harris.
Yeah, that's the part that I enjoyed about catching the most, was working with the pitchers and like knowing their nuances and how to get the most out of each one of them. And so, and I've worked with a lot of the pitchers that we're going to see today. So, I'll be able to commentate as we have with Cam about kind of what his strengths are and how you play to them. And then, you have a general game plan, and then that plan changes based on your opponent. And then as you see how your opponent's hitting against you, you have to adjust a little bit more. So.
Pitch is fouled back. 0-2 on Harris. He flew out to right as well in the fourth inning. So you kind of took on a role. Did you take on a role with, and we'll talk about it next inning, as Harris goes down on strikes there. 3rd strikeout of the game for Bracewell, and he does get that 1-2-3 fourth. We'll be back on the other side, bottom of the fourth, coming up. Bottom of the fourth inning here, game one of this doubleheader. We're square at 2. So, asked this question before we went to break. So, did you take on? You see a lot of times injured players. They sort of take on a role as a coach, for lack of a better term. Like, were you working with the catchers to help them and work with the pitchers? You said you were charting them. Were you sitting down with these guys and saying, "This is what I saw"?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of talking with the pitchers, and that's something that I would do when I was healthy as a catcher, right? Because I'm out there and with them. I would still have a lot of those same conversations with the pitchers, definitely, and then also with the catchers, because like we had talked about, off the air, is that when I was hurt, Lucas came in, and Lucas hadn't had a ton of experience up to that point.
Yep.
Starting, and so there was a lot of conversations that him and I had about how to kind of set up guys as this ball's dribbled over to third base and thrown over to retire Finch.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of conversations that I would have with Lucas about, kind of how to get the most out of guys and stuff like that.
Is there value to, because everybody, you want to be out there every day, right? You want to be out there playing every day. But is there value to sitting over here and sort of watching a game from the outside? Maybe if you're struggling at the plate or something like that. Is there value to not playing a game?
Yeah, there is, especially offensively, like you mentioned. If you're having a hard time, sometimes it's nice just to take that pressure off yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not the one up there doing it, and you can sit there and get a different perspective of what's happening at the plate, and so that can be very refreshing for hitters. So
here's Bovee. Matt tried to bunt his first time up, but lined back to Lenz, who's settled into this nicely, gave up a single and a home run to the first 2 batters he's faced, only given up a couple of hits since then. And Bovee up the middle, and there's a base hit for Matt. So all he needed to do was will it into existence. And there's another base hit, 5th hit of the game for the Scarlet Hawks. They have a 1-out base runner now for Freddie Swingle.
Good piece of hitting there by Bovee. Drew's fastball has a little bit of sink action to it, so you're seeing a lot of ground balls induced towards the left side, kind of up the middle, but and that was a sinker down into Bovee, and he's just able to get enough barrel on it, punch it through the middle. Matt,
4 steals in 5 attempts. He takes off on the first pitch, and Swingle fouls it straight back. Freddie singled to right. It was off the glove of the first baseman, Carney. He stole second and was stranded there. Scarlet Hawks, a couple of stolen bases against Drew Lenz and Colby Davis here so far this afternoon. Lenz with a deep breath. Over to first, and Bovee back in safely. Tech 2 runs on 5 hits and an error. Edgewood 2 runs on 3 hits and an error. Swingle slightly open stance, and Lenz paying a lot of attention to Bovee over there at first base.
Yeah, they know he's going to be in motion. They're protecting against the bunt here. Third baseman's pulled pretty far in.
The 0-1 goes right to the backstop, and jogging down to second is Matt Bovee, as that just went 5-hole. So runner at second with 1 out. Swingle now an RBI opportunity here with that runner on. It looks like Edgewood's starting to get a pitcher loose down in their bullpen. Righty starting to throw a little bit. Daylight play, Bovee back in safely.
Still paying attention at second base. I'd be surprised if he runs with 1 out and a lefty up. It's an easy throw for a catcher to make.
Is it more just trying to keep him close to the bag in case there's... You see a lot of times where that infielder will shift over towards that second base bag to try to keep that runner close. So, ball hit to the outfield, maybe he's got less of a chance to score.
Right. That has more to do with, what's happening up the middle with the shortstop and the second baseman.
Swingle
Because
rolls a
they'll be the
foul.
ones that are able to keep him close. But picking off doesn't, if I'm standing on second base and a guy is going to try and pick me off, I'm not thinking, like, oh, I need to shorten up my lead here.
Gotcha.
It's more, my lead is entirely dependent on where the shortstop and the second baseman
is. Right,
are,
that makes sense.
So if the pitcher's throwing, that means that they're worried about him actually running.
Okay, all right. 1-2 here on Swingle. Len's pitch, and Freddie holds up. Wanted to pull the trigger on that high fastball, but didn't. It's 2-2.
It'd be great to see some production out of the bottom of the order here in this tie game.
Get that runner home from second to 2-2, and he throws the fastball past Freddie for strikeout number 4. 2 away here in the fourth.
Now batting for the Scarlet Hawks, number 3, center fielder, Luke Yakman.
Here's Yaknin. He struck out in the second inning as well. These 2-out RBI situations, situational hitting. Like this is, in a lot of games, this is the difference between a win and a loss, is how you can perform with these, runners in scoring position with 2 outs, or can you get that bunt down? Can you get that ball to the right side to get the runner over to third? Like so many games can be decided by just that one run.
Right. It's definitely going to be the deciding factor in this game with the way these 2 starters are throwing right now.
The 1-0 to Yaknin. Breaking ball over for a strike, 1-1.
Yeah, Drew's game plan against the bottom of the Scarlet Hawk order has been throw a lot of breaking balls. Able to just land one for a strike there. Luke's not looking for that.
1 ball, 1 strike. That's hit to right, and it will get down for a hit in front of Brisick. Rounding third is Bovey. Here comes the throw to the plate. Matt will score standing up. And there's that clutch 2-out hit. Luke Yaknin drives a single to right. And Illinois Tech has retaken the lead at 3-2.
Left fielder, Tim Old.
That's exactly what you want to see out of the bottom of your order. You need guys at the bottom of the order that if there's traffic, that they're going to be able to punch them in. And if there's no traffic, then they're going to become that traffic for the top of your order. So good to see that out of the Scarlet Hawks lineup.
And those breaking balls, you take them the other way. You said the approach here from Lenz against the bottom of this order is breaking ball. And if you're Luke and you know that's the approach, you can wait back on it. You can do what he did right there and drive it to the opposite field.
Right. Yeah, that one that Luke punched was a fastball. Not so. That's a mistake from Lenz there. We just left a fastball up. If he throws another curveball there, you don't know what's gonna, or a slider, excuse me. You don't know how that turns out.
So Yaknin's at first with 2 outs. Timmy Old at the plate. Timmy struck out swinging his first time. Swings and misses there. 0-1. Bottom 4. Scarlet Hawks have retaken the lead here at 3-2.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Luke in motion here.
Not on this pitch, and that slider misses away. 1-1. Yaknin 2 for 4 this year in stolen bases, and that looked like a high changeup. Is that what I saw there?
It was a high slider.
High slider?
Didn't really move that much. Yeah, it wasn't a great pitch, but got Timmy swinging.
1-2 to Old. There goes Yaknin, and Old goes down on strikes for a second time today. 5 Ks for Lenz through 4, but the 2-out RBI from Yaknin gives Illinois Tech a 3-2 lead. top 5 here at Ed Glancy Field. Scarlet Hawks have retaken the lead. It's 3-2. Bracewell retired the side in order in the 4th, and now his offense gave him the lead. So he'll pitch here in the 5th against 8-9-1 for the Edgewood Eagles. Colby Davis, Hayden Hellenbrand, and then TJ Tolliver. Davis had an infield single his first time up. Fastball paints the outside corner, 1-1. Back up the middle. Bovey, nice play on the backhand to retire Davis. We've talked about infield defense a couple of times here today, and that ball was hit hard, but Bovey was right there.
Yeah, that's a great play by Bovey. Has to take a couple hard steps to his right. Ball kind of bounces back to his left, and able to make the backhand and adjust. You know, we'll definitely see more ground balls that change directions on the infielders today. And so being able to have quick hands, quick reactions is what really makes the difference between good Scarlet Hawk infielders, since, you know, we play on this type of a surface. We don't play on turf for all of our home games. So
inside for a ball, 2-0. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a huge difference between, you know, you get on to Florida and you have these fields down there that are groomed 12 months a year, and you've got the field turf, and then you come back up here and it's, you know, a week removed from, you know, 6 inches of snow on the ground, and the ground is rock hard, and you just don't know. I mean, I feel like it takes. It's harder, I guess, to play defense on a field like this than it is on a field that's got the field turf or something that's, you know, like I said, groomed all year long.
Right. Yeah. Natural fields in the Midwest can be very questionable, especially this time of year early. Yep. You know, we've been fortunate to get a decent amount of precipitation this week, you know, so that kind of softens up the field a little bit. But it's, you know, still a lot of unpredictability that's going to happen, especially compared to turf or down in Florida.
2-2. Fastball upstairs.
And down in Florida, they have a different species of grass. And
really?
It's much shorter.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the South, where they have warmer climates, they have this really nice, you know, short grass that plays much faster.
There's a ground ball back up the middle, fielded there by Fryer, and he'll go for a tumble as Hellenbrand will pick up an infield hit. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I knew they had different grass down at the Kentucky Derby. You know, they have that Kentucky bluegrass, but I didn't know that baseball. I thought baseball fields were all, you know, as uniform as they could be. Well, that's interesting. Here's Tolliver. He's had a good start to his day, 2 for 2, a couple of doubles and an RBI. And Tolliver, he's had 2 really good swings against Cam here so far. If you're back there calling balls and strikes as we get a throw down to second, and that ball just doesn't take the bounce, and Hellenbrand's going to cruise over to third. The ball's thrown away, but hits the netting, and Hellenbrand will end up at third base. If that ball bounces true, Hellenbrand's probably out at second, but that stayed down.
Yeah, talking about the unpredictability of the field.
Yep. So it ends up in center field. It'll be an unfortunate throwing error on Bentz, as again, if that ball hits the turf or hits the ground and bounces as it should, that slaps the tag, and it's the second out of the inning. But if you're behind home plate, what's your approach here against Tolliver, given his first 2 at-bats?
Well, I think we talked about it a little bit last time, and you've seen swings and misses and foul balls on elevated fastballs on the outside part of the plate, and anything down over the heart of the plate, he's put great swings on. And that's exactly what they just threw there, just miss the outside corner. But that's the game plan, is hit that spot and make him hit it. Okay. And until then, and you might throw in some changeups, but you got to get those off the plate. You know, his last swing was a changeup that was a mistake left over the middle.
3-0 fastball at the knees, 3-1. Open stance for the lefty Tolliver. Bracewell deals, grounded to the right side, into right field for a base hit. So another hit, another RBI for TJ Tolliver, and we're tied again. It's 3-3.
Now batting for the Eagles, number 23, designated hitter, Dominic Lee.
He's become dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're hot, right? The first two obviously line drives. This one just sort of that ground ball through the right side under the glove of a diving Michael Paxson. Now he finds himself at first base for Dominic Lee. Lee, first pitch fastball is a strike, 0-1. Lee's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a ground out. Tolliver hits it through Paxson down the right field line. Swingle's got a long way to run. Hitting third, rounding third, being held at third is Tolliver. And it's a double for Dominic Lee. And Edgewood threatening here in the 5th inning. Two in scoring position now against Bracewell. We got a mound visit here, and you're the perfect guy to talk. We always wonder up in the booth, what gets said out there. Sometimes it's I got to feel like the pitching coach comes out and says, throw strikes, and then he turns around and walks away. But what do you think they're talking about here?
This is a momentum visit.
Okay.
And so, you see two lefties hit, weak to, and a weak ground ball and then a hard hit ground ball to the right side. You're making your pitches. They're just finding holes. Edgewood built a little bit of momentum. So Ryan's basically just out there telling him, like, hey, you're making your pitches. You're executing how we want. I'm just giving you a little bit of a breather.
Okay.
And really what he's trying to do is just calm the Edgewood dugout down, give everybody a little bit of a reset, and then go to work.
I never really thought about momentum and the role it plays in baseball, but that makes a lot of sense as soon as you say that. 3 straight hits against him, nothing hit particularly hard, so just kind of get out there and settle things down a little bit. It makes perfect sense, but yeah, it's not anything I've ever really thought about.
Yeah, I would say 90% of the visits that you see that obviously aren't like a switch are all about momentum. And nothing really super meaningful is said,
right?
Because you're not going to tell a guy you're stepping the wrong. You're not going to make like a mechanical adjustment.
That's what I was going to say. You don't see a lot of mechanical adjustments during mound visits where the pitching coach comes in and says, "I see you opening up" or something like that.
Yeah, because the pitcher's not going to be able to make that adjustment in the middle of the game.
Right. Okay.
That's stuff that will happen at practice. So it's and Ryan's a guy that he's. He'll always tell you, everything's fine, I believe in you, and, just really tries to boost the confidence and kind of hit that reset button. And that's what 90% of those visits are.
Well, that's good to know. That's again, I love having catchers in the booth with me, man, because you just don't get that stuff any other way. Right. So that's fantastic. Here's Carney. He's got a 2-1 count on him. He's 1 for 2. Tolliver at third, Lee at second. One away here in the 5th. Bracewell's fastball missing away, 3-1. Kyle Prindle due up next. Each team 3 runs, 6 hits. Edgewood's made 1 error. Bracewell dangling that right arm. Now he's ready to go with the 3-1. Foul tipped, held onto by Bentz, 3-2. Strikeout would be huge here for Cam, and he is a strikeout guy, 16 Ks in 14 innings. We talked about his numbers last year. He had multiple games where he struck out double figures. I called the game last year where he struck out 15. Mm-hmm. So he's got that arm, he's got that ability, and he needs to dial one in right here.
All right. The tough thing for Cam against the top of this order is that his strikeout pitch is his breaking ball, and here we've only seen a slider, haven't seen any curveballs today. But it's much less effective against left-handed hitters.
Okay.
And the first 4 batters in the lineup are all left-handed hitters. So you don't have that put away pitch as you do to righties, right? Because if his slider is very sharp, and he throws it hard, so it moves quickly away from a righty, whereas a lefty it kind of moves into them.
That's the lefty's wheelhouse, that down and in.
Right. So yeah, they can either barrel it up or they're just going to poke. They're just going to pepper Paxton over at first there, which is what we've been seeing, and you're not going to necessarily generate that swing and miss as much.
A 3-2, and he walks him. And I was going to ask, in a situation like that where, maybe you can't use that slider against lefties, you're trying to locate the fastball instead, right? Is that sort of the strategy?
Yeah, that's definitely the strategy. Haven't even seen him throw very many sliders to the lefties because it doesn't play as well. But you'll see him throw his changeup a lot more because the changeup moves away from the lefty, whereas it moves into the righty. So, that. He's a guy with a 3-pitch arsenal, or sometimes a 4-pitch arsenal if he's throwing the curveball, and the pitches match up better against different hitters on different sides of the plate. So
here's Prindle. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. He comes up with the bases loaded here in the 5th, a 3-3 game. Popped foul, 1-1. It feels like Cam, and again, kind of early season stuff, right? He's on one inning, and then he struggles the next, then he's on the next inning, and that feels like early season pitching, right? Trying to get a feel for that consistency with where you're throwing your pitches. 1-1, stays up and away.
He's had a tougher time where, if a couple unfortunate things happen, like they had, 2 ground balls to the right side that got through. Cam's had a hard time keeping his pitches exactly dialed in how you want to, and you see a little bit of that stress fatigue start to play. We saw that also in the 3rd.
2-1 misses away, 3-1. He's got to come in with a strike here. No place to put Prindle. Middle infield looking for the double play. Finch well off the line at 3rd. Paxton playing behind Carney over at first. The 3-1 pitch is hit out to left center field. That ball's curving, and it's going to bounce in front of Old. Pair of runs will score. It's a 2-run single for Kyle Prindle as he takes that ball the other way. And Edgewood's up here, 5-3.
Number 5, playing right field is Brevin Brither.
It looks like that's going to do it here for Cam as Coach Seifert comes out, and I would say some good, some bad from Cam today. Again, first start at home, first game in the NAC conference, so he's out after 4 1/3 innings. Illinois Tech's going to go to the bullpen here on the other side. New pitcher here for Illinois Tech in the top of the fifth is Alejandro Garcia. He's making his fifth appearance of the season, a 1-1 record, ERA of about 4.7, 11 innings for Garcia, 10 Ks so far. He's been the first guy out of Coach Seifert bullpen so far this year, and he comes in with runners at first and third with our second. Oh, only one run scored on that base hit. 2 runs came in. That's my bad. So the bases are still loaded here. Dominic Lee came in to score on that single. He actually didn't. So 4 runs charged to Bracewell so far. Fastball foul tipped by Brisick. So Bracewell 4 1/3, 8 hits, 4 runs so far. He's responsible for all 3 runners, 2 walks, 3 Ks. It's a 1-1 count here from Garcia. In the dirt, 2-1.
So Garcia, who's also nicknamed Gary, so I might refer to him.
You mentioned that to me before the game. Is there a reason for that, or is it just?
It's a long story that I'm not going to bore everybody.
Okay, that's fair. That's usually how nicknames are bore out, right?
For any of the parents or friends that don't know where Gary come from, the nickname Gary came from, ask Timmy Old.
Ask Timmy Old.
You can ask Timmy Old when you see him, when you come visit.
All right, there you go. Ask Timmy.
He'll tell you the story. But Gary's game plan, very similar to Cam, really thrives when his fastball's over the outside part of the plate. Same with his sinker. Or his slider, excuse me. That's the slider right there. So it's a two-seam fastball slider mix, and trying to get basically everything on to the outside corner against a righty. He throws soft enough to where if he can get it to the outside part, you're not going to see damage. So he's going to look to try and induce a ground ball here in the full count.
He's going to miss away. It'll be ball 4, so it'll actually walk in a run. First walk issued by Garcia. Now Lee will come in to score. Carney to third, Prindle to second. Base is still loaded, and it's 5-3. Both that 2-2 pitch and that 3-2 pitch were close. That slider, but not close enough to get that hitter to pull the trigger.
Yeah, a couple sliders in the dirt there. Hasn't quite landed that one yet. Made the difference in that AB.
Ventavegna now. He's 0 for 2 with a fly out and a pop out. He'll see the first pitch low for a ball.
Yeah, he's not missing by much there. I mean, maybe a ball and a half down. And that's where Gary's trying to live, but just not quite close enough to get the call from the umpire.
There's a fastball that catches the outside edge, 1-1. Looking to limit the damage here now, right? It's 3 runs in the inning. You're down by 2. You want to get a pop-up, ground out, right at an infielder, something like that to keep this right where it is. Here's a ground ball to Fryer. Taylor-made double play to Bovee on to first. Paxton with the nice pick, and there you go. The 6-4-3 double play does indeed limit the damage. As Edgewood scores 3 in the 5th, halfway home, Scarlet Hawks trail for the first time today. It's 5-3. Scarlet Hawks trail for the first time today. It's 5-3, but if they can come back and win this game, David, you kind of look at that last at bat, right? Alejandro Garcia comes in with the bases loaded. He's able to induce a 6-4-3 double play, keep it a 2-run game rather than letting things get out of hand here on you in the 5th inning.
Right. That's a big spot there. I mean, always sucks to come in with bases loaded, especially less than 2 outs. Walks the first guy, but limits the damage with the double play. Keeps the offense in it.
Top of the order up here in the 5th against Drew Lenz, who's allowed 3 runs and 7 hits through his 4 innings. He'll face Fryer, Gutsfeld, Paxson. If anybody reaches Bentz in the 5th. Fryer out to right center field. Hit pretty well, but that'll hang up for Brisick, and he'll make the catch. Fryer now 1 for 3 today. Now Gutsfeld. Tyler 1 for 2 today, had a 2-run home run back in the 1st. His last time up, hit a hard line drive, but found a glove out in right field.
Edgewood did have a guy up in their bullpen last inning, but there's nothing happening out there now.
Gutsfeld wasting no time. He'll loft this one to left. Harris is back. He loses it, has no idea where it is. It ends up against the wall, and Gutsfeld has himself a gift double here in the 5th inning. As Harris lost, you could see right off the bat he was struggling with that ball and had no idea where it was and had to play defense to keep himself from being hit with it.
Yeah, sun's out that direction and wind's blowing in and just, causing that ball to dance up there.
Mm-hmm.
Tough job for a left fielder today, especially off a left-handed bat where it already has a natural slice to it. A lot of factors going into that.
Paxson 1 for 2. He'll hit it pretty well out to right. Brisick will trail over by the line, and he doesn't get it. That lands fair. Gutsfeld hits third. Here comes the throw to the plate, up the line. Gutsfeld scores on the RBI double by Michael Paxson, and the Scarlet Hawks have cut into the lead. It's 5-4. A little bit of batting luck on the side of Illinois Tech here. Last time Gutsfeld hit the ball hard, it ended up in a glove. This time they get a couple of lazy fly balls, if you will, that end up as doubles.
Yeah. You also don't see Paxson or Tyler Gutsfeld go oppo very much.
Right.
And both of those doubles to the opposite field for both those batters.
Yep, Paxson right down the right field line, too. And Brisick tried to make the diving play, but a lot of space in that right field corner when Michael Paxson's at the plate. So found the right spot, picked up the RBI, and now the tying run is at second base for Philip Bentz. Bentz 0 for 2. First pitch down and in, cut on and missed, 0-1. Bentz with 3 multi-hit games on the season. Both teams coming to play today 4-7 in their non-conference schedule. 0-2.
Big swing from Phil on that hanging slider there. I'd like to see him shorten that up and just get the ball in play with their runner in scoring position, especially with 2 strikes now.
Lenz with the 0-2. And it's the fastball, throws it past Bentz. That's strikeout number 6 for Bentz. Now 2 outs in the 5th for Jack Finch. Finch 0 for 2. Fly out and a ground out. Another 2-out RBI opportunity. Scarlet Hawks had one of these last inning. Luke Yakinen with a single to right, driving home Matt Bovey. Looking for more of the same here from Jack Finch. First pitch down. 1 ball, no strikes. One ball, no strikes. Fastball missing away, 2-0. So hitters count here for Finch. Lenz checks on Paxson a couple of times at second. Now brings the 2-0 home. Finch rolls it to the right side. Scooped there by Carney. Carney underhand flipped the Lenz, who gets the right foot on the bag. So Finch is out, 3-pitcher covering. And that'll do it for the Scarlet Hawks here in the 5th. They pick up a run on a couple of doubles from Gutsfeld and Paxson. 5 full in the books. Scarlet Hawks down 5-4. Top of the 6th, Edgewood with a 5-4 lead over the Scarlet Hawks. Alejandro Garcia came in with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 5th, walked the first man he faced, but then induced a 6-4-3 double play, and he'll try to put a 0 up here in the 6th inning against Ryan Harris, Colby Davis, Hayden Hellenbrand, the 7, 8, 9 hitters for Edgewood. So the line on Bracewell, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, and again, I said this when he came out of the game. I think there's some good you can take out of his outing today. Obviously, the results are what the results are, but you know there's some good I think you can take out of what he did out there today.
Yeah, I think Cam had a lot of control of multiple different pitches, and so that's something you're looking for early. And we had talked about at Wheaton how we weren't seeing that. So it's good to see that in conference play. He's putting pitches where he wants to. Yeah, a couple unfortunate infield singles, and that puts some runs on the board. But ultimately, Cam was back to form. Didn't quite rack up as many Ks, perhaps as he usually does. But ultimately, I would chalk it up as a good outing, not a great outing.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you're going to put the ball where you want to put it, and the hitter's going to find a hole. And right. I think we saw that a handful of times today. And so then the results aren't great, but kept his team in the game, and that's really all you can ask for as a coach or as a fan of a team, that your starter goes out there, and when he leaves the game, you're still in it. Right. And that's where we are right now, 5-4 here in the 6th. It's 1-2 on Ryan Harris, who's 0 for 2 today. Garcia kicks and fires. Fastball missing away. 2-2.
Yeah, what you really want to see out of Gary and the Hawks here, able to claw back a run, only trailing 1 now. You want to see Gary go out, have a quick inning, and get that offense back to work, right? You don't want to let Edgewood add on to that lead, and now you're chasing more.
Stays inside, 3-2. And we talked about momentum a little bit ago, right? So Illinois Tech got that run back. The momentum's back on their side. If Garcia puts up that 0, the offense comes back out, ties it, takes the lead again. Payoff pitch from Garcia. It's popped out of play.
Yeah, momentum is a big factor in D3 baseball. Hitting is contagious, and bad pitching is contagious, and then, bad defense is contagious. There's a lot of things that all seem to snowball at the same time. So keeping the momentum on your side is very important.
Fastball upstairs. He'll walk Harris leading off the 6th inning. Yeah, you hear, we've all heard hitting is contagious, but, bad fielding and bad pitching being contagious as well is, I don't think, quite as well known.
Right. It's well, especially with D3 baseball, sometimes you'll see those really big innings, those long innings,
Yeah.
and one bad play a lot of times will lead to another bad play later in the inning, and so best way to prevent that on the defensive side is just keep your innings short.
Right. Yeah. Just make the play, get out of the inning.
Make the play.
Colby Davis, the catcher, 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. He squared to bunt on that first pitch. Ryan Harris down at first. Nobody out in the 6th. Same pitch, same results. A ball down and in, 2-0. Garcia looking for another ground ball, similar to what he got to get out of the 5th. Finch getting ready to charge in at 3rd. Squaring to bunt, popping it foul. So 2-1.
Yeah, Finch is playing pretty far in. He's a couple steps into the grass. So they're taking this bunt threat very seriously.
2 balls, 1 strike. Nobody out, top 6. Garcia. The bunt gets down. It's fielded by Finch. His only play is at first, and he makes it. So Colby Davis on the sack bunt will move Ryan Harris to second with 1 out. Now Hayden Hellebrand. Hellebrand 1 for 1. He had an infield single his last time up. He stole second, advanced to 3rd on a throwing error. Eventually come in to score. He'll have a runner at second with 1 away here in the 6th. Nice ball right there for a strike. 1-0. 0-1, rather. Garcia checks on Harris at second. Fastball at the knees, outside corner, 0-2. Now, what's your thought on an 0-2 pitch? You see a lot of pitchers waste an 0-2 pitch. Are you in that mindset, or are you going after the hitters on 0-2?
Depends a little bit on the hitter and the pitcher, obviously. With Gary, his strikeout pitch is really his slider, if he can get a slider off the plate in the dirt. So this wouldn't be a terrible time to waste one and try and get a swing and miss down there. But yeah, I think, as a general rule of thumb, if it's 0-2, you gotta waste one. Like you can't afford to make a mistake and then give up a hit on 0-2 just because you have so many just like that.
Ball is in the dirt. Harris reaches 3rd. I thought that might have been a check swing strike 3, but it looked like Hellebrand held up. So wasting that 0-2 pitch is less about trying to get them to chase and more about not making a mistake on 0-2. If you can get them to chase, great, but you just don't want to make a mistake.
Right, it's about less risk.
Gotcha,
right?
Okay.
You're taking less risk because you still got to throw 4 balls to walk him. Right? You got a lot of pitches to play with.
1-2. That's blooped into left, and that'll get down for a base hit. Hellebrand will bring home Harris, and Edgewood retakes a 2-run lead. It's 6-4. Got another ball. David not hit all that hard.
Yeah. Just
reaching out and dropping it into left field.
Yeah, that's what we've seen out of the bottom of the order, and it makes for an effective bottom of the order, to be honest, where you don't have a bunch of guys that are going to hit tanks and put balls over the wall, but if they can just drop the barrel and put balls in play, good things will happen. And we've definitely seen that out of Edgewood's bottom of the order a couple times today.
First pitch taking off is Hellebrand. He will steal second base, his second stolen base of the game, and the pitch was low to TJ Tolliver, who's been the hitting star for Edgewood here today. He's 3 for 3 with a couple of doubles, couple of RBI, couple of runs scored. All 3 hits to the right side. Fastball missing away, 2-0. Back to the 2-run lead at 6-4. balls, no strikes here on Tolliver. Bottom fell out of that one,
Yeah,
2-1.
That's a change up there. Got to swing and miss. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple more of those. Illinois Tech has not had an answer for Tolliver yet today, so we're gonna see if Gary has a solution here.
2-1. Stayed up and away, 3-1.
This also isn't a terrible spot to put him on first base. Now they have the base open. You put the double play in order, and you don't have to face him.
Just be very careful with this 3-1 pitch. Garcia puts it in the dirt, so it will be a walk for Tolliver, who reaches for a 4th time here this afternoon. 3rd walk from Garcia, 5th walk of the day by Scarlet Hawk pitching. 1st and 2nd now with 1 out for Dominic Lee, who's 1 for 3 with a double. Garcia, another situation where a ground ball would do him well. Fastball pumped over, strike 1.
Yeah, with Gary's two-seamer, he's just going to look to put it in the zone just like that and get a weak rollover to Bovee. Try and get that tailor-made double play. That's what you're looking for here.
Runners picked off. Finch to Fryer, and he'll tag out the runner Hellenbrand. So the 1-6-5-6 put out at 3rd. Tolliver will go down to 2nd. I don't know if that's going to fit in my book, but I'll try to write it. 2 outs, runner at 2nd now. Talked about running into errors, or running into outs. Edgewood's done that a couple of times here today. We'll see if the Hawks can make them pay for it later on. 0-1, popped up. Is that going to stay in the park? Over for it is Bentz, and that lands on the dugout. So it's 0-2.
I hated those as a player.
Especially here, you get that fence, and those are the players on the opposite side aren't going to help you at all. They're not going to get out of your way.
Nope. And just, catcher pop-ups, especially on a windy day like this, over towards the fence, just, good luck.
Not a lot of foul territory here either behind home plate. There goes the runner for 3rd. This is launched out to left. Old is there, and he'll make the catch head high to retire the side. Edgewood gets that run back on a couple of walks and a hit. 5.5 down. Scarlet Hawks down 6-4. Bottom of the 6th inning. Scarlet Hawks down 6-4. They'll send up Bovee, Swingle, and Yaknin against Drew Lenz. Bovee 1 for 2 today. Single, scored a run his last time up. Swings the first pitch, pops it a mile up in the air. Colby Davis settles underneath it, and he's able to gobble it up. I had to squeeze it between his arm and his body. He makes the catch in foul territory. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 6th. Now Freddie Swingle, he's 1 for 2 as well. Freddie singled, stole a base back in the 2nd. He struck out swinging in the 4th. Scarlet Hawks down 6-4. They took a 2-0 lead after 1. Two-run homer from Tyler Gutzfeld. Edgewood tied it in the 3rd. Hawks would retake the lead in the 4th. Edgewood with 3 in the top of the 5th to take their first lead of the game at 5-3. Illinois Tech got one back last inning. Edgewood got it back here in the 6th. So it's 6-4, 1 out, bottom 6. Swingle swings through the 1-0 pitch, 1-1. Swingle swings at the letter-high fastball and skies it down the left field line, but that'll land over in the Edgewood bullpen for a strike, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Number 7 hitter here against Drew Lenz, who's gone 5 1/3, 8 hits, 4 runs. Swingle out to left center field. Harris, much easier time that time, and he makes the catch for the 2nd out here in the 6th inning.
Now batting for the Scarlet Hawks, number 3, center fielder Luke Yaknin.
Now Yaknin, Luke 1 for 2. Last time up at a RBI single to right with 2 outs. Pop out and a fly out so far here in the 6th. First pitch to Luke is lined into left field. Harris makes the running catch. Yaknin on the screws, but that's a quick 1-2-3 6th inning for Drew Lenz and the Edgewood Eagles. 7th inning upcoming, 6-4.
For the Eagles.
And welcome back.
Number 11, Jacob.
We are here in the top of the 7th in Game 1 of the doubleheader between Edgewood and the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks. Austin Schnurr has just come into the game to relieve Alejandro Garcia. Here's his first pitch, and that's going to be low. Schnurr, the lefty. comes in with a clean inning. Currently, the Hawks are trailing in the 7th, 6-4. That's a fastball in there for a strike. And that'll make it 1-2. This is Schnurr's 4th appearance this year. As that ball's hit softly over to Bovey, he's able to flip it over to Paxton and record the first out of the inning. So 1 batter, 1 out. Good efficiency for Austin Schnurr.
For the Eagles, number 2, shortstop, Kyle Prindle.
Keep going. You're doing good.
Thanks, Aaron. So retiring that out, that'll bring up number 2, the shortstop, Perindle, for Austin Schnurr. 4-hitter here in the Edgewood lineup, so he's got the middle of the lineup to work with.
Just the expectation more of the same, right? Go out there, try to put up some zeros, and let your offense get back out there and try to do some damage.
Yeah, definitely. Got to have the offense chip away. You got 9 more outs to cut the deficit, so trying to give them the best chance that you can.
And I like this going with the lefty here against the top of this order, which, features 4 straight left-handed hitters. Try to change things up for them a little bit, make them a little bit uncomfortable in the batter's box.
Right, makes a lot of sense. He is one of 2 lefties, I believe, on the Illinois Tech pitching staff, so they don't have a lot of options. That ball's sliced by Prindle over to left, and Timmy able to roam over and bring that one in on the run. Nice play by Tim. We've talked about how the wind is howling out there in left field. It seems to have died down just a little bit, but that ball sliced pretty hard off Prindle's bat, and Tim was able to bring that one in.
And that's the way the wind is blowing as well. So you got the natural slice off a left-handed hitter out to left field, and with the wind blowing out that way as well, it's moving even more towards the line.
Right. And that ball's hit really sharply right to Bovey's left as he was taking a step to the right for some reason. It's almost like it wasn't quite set yet. So a sharp infield single.
Yeah, he took sort of a jump step to his right there, like he was going to cover the second base bag or something, and the ball was shot right to where he was standing.
Yeah.
This is Benta Vegna now. Vegna.
Shows to bunt. That's a curveball in there for a strike. Edgewood shows to bunt an awful lot. It's tough to tell, from the defensive perspective, whether they're actually going to bunt or whether it's just a show bunt. They'll show and then pull back to get the runner over to second base a lot. But they've also bunted a couple times today, so you never know. That's a fastball down and in, stopped by Benz as it hit the dirt. So that's a 1-1 count. We got a runner on first with 2 outs. Infield single put the runner on first, so now we're looking for Schnurr to retire the side here. He's trailing in the count, 2-1. And that ball hit sharply to the right side, line drive. That lands about 6 feet foul. Just a touch late on it. So we'll do it again. It's 2-2.
Not a bad outing for Garcia. Control maybe a little off. He walked 3, but that big pitch was in that 5th inning when he induced the double play. So he did his job.
Yeah, Gary's never been a guy to, be afraid to walk somebody.
Okay.
He walked the first guy, and when he came in, and then he walked the first guy in his next inning when he had a fresh inning, and that is somewhat typical of Gary. That ball is blooped out to right field. Freddie coming in, making the catch, and that will retire the side. So a good inning for Schnurr. Holds, puts up a 0. And Scarlet Hawks have 9 outs, trailing 2. 6-4. We'll be back with the bottom of the 7th.
pinch hitter.
And welcome back to Game 1 of the doubleheader against Edgewood and Illinois Tech. This is the home opener for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks and the first conference game for both of these two teams. So an important game. We have 2.5 innings left to play. We're here in the bottom of the 7th. Edgewood currently leading 6-4.
Got a pinch hitter here for Timmy Old, who's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Jonah Wilkes will get his first at-bat of the afternoon. Good start to the year offensively for Jonah, 324 with 8 knocked in.
That's a strike on the outside half. Drew's still in the game for Edgewood. He's a starter. He's had a pretty good outing so far, giving up 4 through 6. And that ball is hit softly out to right field, drifting almost. Oh, and that ball hits the ground. The right fielder went to grab the ball about ankle high as it just kept drifting in the wind and didn't end up securing it. So it ended up on the ground, and Jonah Wilkes ends up on first base.
Yeah, just a blooper to right, and I think Jonah thinks that, saw him kind of make a little movement with his head as he moves back to the dugout. I think maybe he thinks he probably should have ended up at second base on that one there. That was a lazy fly ball to right, and again, the right fielder, Bevan Brisick, tried to make that catch, just dropped out of his glove, and pinch runner now is Tanner Jenkins will come into pinch run for Wilkes.
Tanner is extremely fast, by far the fastest guy on the team, and that's sure saying something because there's a lot of fast guys on the Illinois Tech roster.
Well, a great opportunity then for them to get that man into scoring position here with nobody out.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if we see him in motion during this AB. We're at the top of the order now with no outs. Jack Fryer up to bat. Jack is 1 for 3 today against Drew. Had a leadoff single to start the bottom of the first.
Jenkins down at first base, 2 for 2 this year in stolen bases.
So a little bit of momentum. Bit of chatter from the Illinois Tech dugout as they're trying to keep that momentum and turn it into runs. Jack turns on one and hits it hard, but that, with the wind, is just going to drift way foul.
Yeah, he gave it a ride. He got out ahead of it, but again, that wind still pushing in from left, and I think that probably was going to hook foul either way, but that wind helped aid it.
Uncharacteristic swing from Jack there. You don't usually see him take a big swing and turn on a ball like that. He's more of a poke and prod kind of guy like we saw with his single in the first inning. So it's 1-1 now.
Lenz with 6 Ks through 6+.
No running. And another line drive up the middle for Jack Fryer, and that will be a single. So we didn't see Tanner in motion, but Tanner's going to end up on second base anyway, and Jack will follow him at first.
And this is the guy you want coming up with 2 on late in the game. Tyler Gutzfeld, 2 for 4 with a double and a home run. For Jack Fryer, that's his 4th multi-hit game of the season and his 2nd in a row.
Yeah, if you had to put anybody in an RBI opportunity, it would be Tyler Gutzfeld.
And he's been aggressive up there. This is his 4th plate appearance, and I think he's seen a total of 5 pitches in those first 3 at-bats. He's up there swinging. When you're feeling it, you see a pitch you can hit and take that cut.
Yep. When they say that when you're hot, the pitch looks like a beach ball. And when you're cold, it looks like the size of a ping pong ball.
Yeah, I bet.
And for Pax and Guts, with how they've been swinging the bat over the last couple of games, ball's trending more to looking like a beach ball for them.
Yeah, it's larger for them. Yeah, they're each 2 for 3 today. Each have an RBI.
So it's 1-1. Drew kicks, fires. Hit sharply down the right field line, but that's going to be foul. Just going past first base, about a couple feet to the right. had that been a fair ball, easily scores Tanner and probably Fryer.
Gutsfeld this season, you talk about the beach ball, he's 11 for 22 at the plate. Quick math tells you that's a 500 batting average.
Hans fouled away. It's a good pitch by Drew there. Get that sinker on the outside corner. So it's a 1-2 count. We got no out, so we're going to have multiple opportunities here for the Scarlet Hawks to chip away. Down 2. The tying run's on first base and Jack Fryer. It's a fastball that was high, likely not a strike, but fouled off by Tyler Gutsfeld. You know, sometimes you just got to go into that defense mode.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it shows you how locked in he is. He's made contact with all of Lenz's best pitches here, even pitches that he shouldn't be swinging at, he's making contact with right now.
The 1-2 is a slider that's hit really high into center field, right center field, and it's caught, and Tanner's going to be on the move. Ooh. It's a great throw, and it's missed by the third baseman, but Drew is backing up there, so there won't be any motion from Fryer. Fryer will stay at first. Yeah, Tyler will advance Jenkins over to third.
It's fortunate that ball was not fielded cleanly by Hillebrand over at third base, because Jenkins was probably out on a clean field over there at third.
Yeah, it was a fairly shallow ball to run on, but like I said, Tanner has a lot of speed, so I'm not super surprised that they went there. And the ball definitely beat him to the bag. So they're going to check now to make sure that Tanner didn't leave early. Field umpire signals that he did not. And so you have first and third with one out. Tying run is still on first base. And you have the other big hitter for Illinois Tech, Michael Paxton, at the plate now.
Pax also 2 for 3 today. Had a double his last time up down the right field line.
That's a fastball in the upper part of the zone. Paxton's seen a healthy dose of sliders from Drew so far today. Wouldn't be surprised to see Jack in motion at some point here. There he goes. And that ball's hit out to center field. It's also fairly shallow. This is going to be an RBI opportunity. And Tanner is going, and the throw home is wide, and Tanner will score easily, and that makes it a 5-6 ball game.
Yeah, I mean, Scarlet Hawks, you know, maybe you're looking for a little bit more with Gutsfeld and Paxton at the plate with 2 on, but Illinois Tech gets them over, gets them in, and that's, you know, if you're going to make an out, make it a productive one, right? And you got a couple of fly balls to center by Tyler and Michael, and that gets a run home. And now maybe you send Fryer for second, try to get him into scoring position with 2 outs.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely be on the move here. You know, there's when you have Guts and Pax at the plate, you don't want to take ABs away from them.
Right.
Fryer was on the move anyway when Pax put that ball in play, but now with 2 outs and you still have your middle of the order up, you don't mind, you know, in the event that Fryer gets caught, you don't mind starting your next inning with Philly B and Jack Finch also.
Right. You don't want to be running into outs with your big bats at the plate. So let them up there, try to do the damage, and you know, now.
Yep. So again, now I wouldn't be surprised if they try and get Jack in the scoring position. There he goes. And there's not a throw from the catcher. It looks like he was just a little bit off balance.
It's called a strike, but Fryer picks up the stolen base. He's 5 for 5 now this season. Almost looked like there was nobody covering the bag down at second base either.
Could have gone into the hesitation there. Slider catches the outside corner, according to the home plate umpire. It's a good pitch.
Lentz is approaching 100 pitches. That was pitch 92 to Bentz.
There's movement down in the Edgewood bullpen, but there's nobody on the mound. So it looks like they're at least going to try and get him through this inning. And that's a slider on the inside corner. Just kind of front hipped him. Froze Philly Benz for a backwards K. And that will end the inning, so Edgewood can hold on to a 1-run lead. And now they'll get to hit here in the top of the 8th. We'll be back. Austin Schnurr is still on the mound for Scarlet Hawks.
Top of the 8th. Edgewood holding on to a 6-5 lead here. Scarlet Hawks have scored runs in 3 of the last 4 innings, but that 3-run 5th still looming large for the Eagles. Austin Schnurr pitched a scoreless 7th, back out there for the 8th, and he'll face the bottom 3 in this Eagles lineup. My name is Aaron Shellen. I'm calling both ends of the doubleheader with you today, with David Cooper in the booth with me, and Schnurr retires Harris on the 5-3 putouts. Now, Colby Davis, the catcher.
Now batting for the Eagles, number 18, catching, Colby Davis.
I think Tanner Jenkins is staying in the game out and left. Looks like Tanner out there. My eyes aren't quite good enough, but I believe that's Jenkins out and left.
Yeah.
First pitch fastball from Schnurr is a strike. Davis 1 for 2 today, singled and scored in the 3rd, dropped down a sac bunt his last time up. In for a strike as well. So, I said this earlier, when you're a relief pitcher coming into a game where you're trailing, your job is to throw up zeros, right? Your job is to try to keep your offense in the game, and so far so good between Garcia and Schnurr as they've pitched 3 innings of 1-run ball so far. You just try to keep that up and hope that the offense can get something done in the 8th and or 9th. 1-2 grounded in the hole. Fryer on the backhand bobbles it, and Davis will reach. Tough play in the hole for Fryer. I don't know if he would have had him either way. It's going to be ruled an infield hit.
Number 9, playing third base.
Yeah, it's important to knock that ball down, though, even if, there wasn't really going to be a play had he fielded it cleanly. But preventing that from just kind of dribbling into the outfield ensures that runner is going to stay at first base. And when you're trying to throw up zeros, you got to make sure you have double play opportunities, which now they do, and keeping them out of scoring position. So
looks like we're going to have a pinch runner here, Jacob Manier. Will pinch run for Hellenbrand. We're in the 8th, 6-5 game. It's been a good one here, this first game of 2. Austin Schnurr out there for a 2nd inning of relief. He follows Alejandro Garcia and Cameron Bracewell. That'll be a base hit to left center field, dropping in front of Jenkins. The runner will make the turn. The throw into third, safe at third, and the runner Hillebrand will cruise into second, so single to left.
Now batting for the
The runners will advance on the throw.
center field, Carey.
There's a little bit of freshman inexperience there. That ball needs to go to second base and keep that double play in order. I mean, you don't really have a chance of getting that runner at third. But when you make the throw to third, then the runner can just jog over to second base.
Yep.
So
For TJ Tolliver, who's 3 for 3. He pops this to shallow center. Luke Yaknin comes in. Yaknin makes the catch. Not nearly deep enough, as Luke is only a step on the outfield grass by the time he makes the catch. One away in the 8th.
yeah, good thing Luke came all the way in to get that, because there wasn't an outfielder within 30 feet.
No.
An infielder, excuse me. It was about one step out of the infield dirt, and there was no infielder anywhere close to that ball. So
Off the bat, that looks like a lazy fly to center field, but again, that wind just knocking the ball down, and Luke was about 2 steps behind the second base bag when he made the catch. Here's another fly ball, this one to shallow left center. Jenkins is over. He'll make the catch, and Austin Schur does a nice job of working around those back-to-back signals. Gives Illinois Tech 2 scoreless innings. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Scarlet Hawks down by a run. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Day is done for Drew Lenz after 7, 9 hits, 5 runs. He didn't walk anybody. He struck out 7, and he'll turn it over to the 6'1 lefty out of Middleton, Wisconsin, Aiden Williams. Williams will face Finch, Bovey, and Swingle here in the 8th. Lefty on lefty. Finch rolls it to the right side, gobbled up by Benta Vegna, and he bobbles it. And there will be a leadoff base runner here for Illinois Tech on an E4. Or are they going to give him a hit? Did they give him a hit for that? I don't know if they give him a hit for that. Don't know yet. At any rate, leadoff man on. If you're Tech here, you bunting?
no.
No? All right.
Well, let's see. Who do you have up next? Freddie?
Freddie.
They're going to bunt anyway.
They're going to bunt. Bovey has it. The
Oh,
third
that's
baseman, Hellenbrand, falls down, and Bovey will pick up an infield hit. So
I retract my earlier statement. You should bunt
you
here.
should bunt because you're going to pick up a base hit.
The Scarlet Hawks, number 4.
So Finch was actually given a single on that. So back-to-back infield hits for Illinois Tech. Now you bunt.
My thought process was, well, we saw Bovey bunt earlier this game. He bunted it right back to the pitcher. Like I don't know how confident
I
you are.
didn't trust him again the second time.
You know, and Bovey's a contact guy. He can make some things happen. I trust Bovey. But he did a great job there. Well executed bunt and
Pinch hitter here for Freddie Swingle. It's going to be Lucas Wan.
Lucas Wan.
So Swingle was 1 for 3 today.
So they took out a lefty and put in another lefty.
Yeah, you don't
to face
normally
the lefty.
see that, right? Normally, when you're pinch hitting for a lefty with a lefty on the mound, you're bringing in a righty. But nope, they're bringing in Lucas Juan, who is 6 for 16 this year.
And this is just another momentum visit.
A momentum visit. See, now I know. Now I know what's going on during these visits and call them for what they are. We're not talking strategy. We're just talking momentum.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois Tech able to get a single and then a bunt single. You have the go-ahead run at first base, tying run on second base. So there might have been a little bit of strategy discussion in terms of, now Lucas Juan is in the game. So that's also pretty common when you have a pinch hitter coming in. You might have a little bit of, here's how we're going to go after him. But
it looks like they're expecting a bunt as Hellenbrand is in even with the grass at third. Then throw over to second to see if Lucas, I think, would give it up.
Yeah.
And Juan didn't. It seems weird to me that if you're going to send Juan up there, you would send him up there to bunt. Why pinch hit for somebody only to have him bunt, unless he's a much better bunter than Swingle is. And he does square to bunt. Pitches up and in.
Yeah, I haven't been at the bunting drills this year,
No,
obviously, so
no.
I can't speak to whether Lucas is a better bunter.
Who was the
than
best
Freddie,
bunter on the team last year?
Sam.
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense. Best bat control, yeah. He pulls it back. There you go, see. Showed it, pulled it back, took another ball.
Took a play out of Edgewood's playbook there. That's not something built into the Illinois Tech playbook that much, but
well, now if you're Edgewood, you have no idea what Juan's going to do.
Yeah. He might put one over right field, who knows?
Who knows? Squares to bunt, pulls it back, 3-0. Luke Yaknin due up next.
Now, something that Lucas is markedly better at than Freddie is taking walks. Lucas walks a ton.
Well, he's one pitch away from that right here. The 3-0. Oh, no, we're going to throw back to second. Williams making his 6th appearance of the season, 0-1, 6.75 ERA, 17 hits and 13 innings of work. He drops the 3-0 pitch over for a strike. 9 strikeouts and 6 walks against Williams this year. Opponents hitting .321 off the lefty. 3 balls, 1 strike on Lucas Juan. Squares to bunt again. Ball 4, bases are loaded.
He squared to bunt every pitch and never actually offered at any of them. Draws the walk, though.
First walk of the game issued by Edgewood pitching. Bases loaded for Yaknin. Luke 1 for 3 today. Had an RBI single in the 4th. Flew out to left his last time up. And Edgewood still thinking about the bunt. You look over at third base. Hayden Hellebrand is even with the grass. And first baseman Jacob Carney is even with the bag at first. The corner's in here.
Bench running at first base, number 9, Chris DeGroot.
Chris DeGroot pinch running for Juan at first. Luke already with a big 2-out RBI in this game. Swings at the first pitch, pops it over our heads, 0-1. So Yaknin in the number 9 spot, which looks like Tanner Jenkins still right now. And then Jack Fryer with an opportunity to get this game tied or give the Scarlet Hawks the lead late. The 0-1. Bounced up there, blocked by Davis. Actually, I think we have a new catcher out there for... We do. We have a new catcher out there for Edgewood as well. That looks like Carson Richter. Yaknin drops the bunt down. It's fielded. The pitcher falls down. Yaknin beats it out. And the game is tied on the drop on the bunt by Luke Yaknin. And that a little bit of small ball by Illinois Tech here in the 8th. Couple of bunts, couple of a walk, and they have tied the game.
Well, you sure don't mind seeing that out of the bottom of your order.
No, and twice this inning, Edgewood has had a defender fall down trying to field the bunt. First it was the third baseman, now the pitcher. On the go-ahead run, 90 feet away, Tanner Jenkins at the plate. Sees the first pitch over for a strike.
That was a great job by Luke there. That was a suicide squeeze, meaning that the runner at third was he was coming home no matter what. So if they miss that bunt, then it's going to be an out.
Tanner pops it up. That'll reach out of play. This will be a great time for Tanner to pick up his first hit of the season. 0 for 5 on the year. Used primarily as a pinch runner, but bases loaded, nobody out. Love to see him find a hole between one of these infielders.
Yeah, stays in for Tim and gives himself a big opportunity here.
You talked earlier about making a name for yourself for taking advantage of opportunities when they're given to you early in the season. Well, this is one right here for Tanner Jenkins.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the context of non-conference games.
Right.
Now you have your first conference game against a rival late in the game on the line.
1-1. Jenkins squares to bunt, gets it down, but it's foul. And that's going to be strike 3 on Jenkins as he tries to drop the bunt down with 2 strikes. So first strikeout for Williams. Not a bad idea, though, if you can get that down. The bunt has worked so far this inning.
It sure has, and Tanner's fast enough that it'd be very difficult to even throw him out at first anyway.
Well, Fryer, Jack 2 for 4 today, out of the leadoff spot here in an RBI opportunity with the bases loaded. Ball 1 low. Gutsfeld due up next. You know, they're not going to mess around with Jack here. They're going to try to put something around the plate because you don't want to keep those bases loaded for Gutsfeld. 1 ball, no strikes. Hit hard and fair down the left field line. That'll score at least 2. DeGroot will score. Hitting third is Yachnin. He'll come in to score. Jack Fryer into third with a stand-up triple. There's the excitement we were talking about. The ball just got lost down there in the right field corner. It's a 3-run triple for Jack Fryer, a 4-run 8th. And Illinois Tech is up 9-6.
There's going to be a discussion here because that ball down in the left field bullpen ran into some of the Edgewood equipment down there, and the left fielder threw his hands up, signaling that there's, you know, that he can't get the ball anymore. You know, like if a ball gets stuck in the fence or something, that's what you would do. Looks like the umpires decided not to award that.
Yeah, I mean it would have ended up being a double, and that last run, Yachnin would have had to have gone back to third base, but. It's a triple for Jack Fryer, his second triple of the season. RBIs 9, 10, and 11. He's now at third base for Tyler Gutsfeld. Gutsfeld launches it to center. Tolliver will trail back. That's over his head. That's off the wall. Fryer will coast home. Tyler Gutsfeld into second with his third extra base hit of the game, and the hits keep coming for the Scarlet Hawks here in the 8th. They're up 10-6.
An offensive explosion powered by small ball at the bottom of the order, and then the big power by Guts there. A triple from Fryer. That's exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, small ball at the top of the order, big ball at the top of the order, right? I mean, that's what you want. You want those big flies. We're going to get another pitching change here with 1 out in the 8th. 5 runs already in. Scarlet Hawks threatening for more. So third pitcher of the day here for Edgewood, the second of the inning. This is the righty Mark Torr. Aiden Williams, tough outing for him. A third of an inning, gave up 5 hits. He walked a man. He's allowed 5 runs so far. He's responsible for Gutsfeld at second base. Welcome back, Tyler, right? 3 for 5, 3 extra base hits. And now the first batter Torr will face is Michael Paxson. Paxson 2 for 3 today with a double and a couple of runs knocked in. Good numbers for Torr so far this year. 7 1/3 innings, only 4 hits, 1 run. He's trying to keep it a 4-run game. A 5-run 8th for the Scarlet Hawks. Paxson chops it to third. Hellenbrand has it. He'll make the high throw. Holding the bag is Carney. So out at first is Paxson. 2 away now for Phillip Bentz, the 9th man to hit this inning.
Torr's fastball has a little bit more velo to it than what we've seen out of the Edgewood pitching staff so far.
We're going to have a pinch runner down at second base. It's going to be Alec Weedman pinch running for Gutsfeld. All this started with a ground ball by Jack Finch to the second baseman, Benta Vegna, who struggled with it. And then a bunt hit from Matt Bovey, a walk, another bunt hit. Mm-hmm. We talk about small ball, that's the definition of, right? An infield single, 2 bunt hits, and a walk.
Yeah, set it up for the top of your order to do some damage.
Yep, a 3-run triple for Fryer. Gutsfeld with a double. And there's a fastball over for a strike to Bentz, who's 0 for 4 with a couple of Ks in Game 1. Game 2 will start about 30 minutes after Game 1 ends. Give both teams a chance to grab some food. That food's got to taste a lot better after a win, right?
Oh, it definitely does.
Go 1 to Bentz, hits him. So Scarlet Hawks have batted around here in the 8th. Jack Finch, 10th man to hit.
I always hate to see catchers get hit by pitch when they're batting. You know, we get beat up enough.
You guys get beat up enough, I know.
You don't need to get beat up when you're hitting too.
No, absolutely.
That one didn't look like it hurt too bad though. Soft, loopy curveball just kind of caught him in the elbow.
Yeah, if you're gonna get hit, that's what you want to get hit with, right? The breaking ball.
Yeah.
That is the truth, though. You guys behind the plate, you get something in just about every game. It doesn't matter how much gear you're wearing. That ball's going to find a spot that is covering a
forearms, thighs. There's plenty of places that don't have any padding.
Yep. Finch got this inning started with a ground ball to the second baseman. Benta Vegna wasn't able to field it cleanly. Jack beat it out. Now his hits in 6 of his last 7 games. First pitch to Finch is in for a strike, 0-1. We look ahead to the Edgewood 9th. They'll have Carney, Prindle, and Brissick. That's 3, 4, 5. The 0-1. Can't catch up with it. Nothing in 2. Talked about that velo. You saw it there.
Good job of mixing pitches there. First pitch that Finch saw was a changeup. A lot of break on that changeup, very slow, and then just pumps a fastball by him.
Nothing in 2. The pitch to Finch. Missing away, 1 and 2.
Yeah, there's that changeup. A lot of movement on that changeup. I mean, it's breaking probably 8 inches down and 6 inches over. So you don't usually see that type of movement out of a changeup.
The 1-2 now. Finch hooks it to center, but right at Tolliver, who makes the catch. But the damage is more than done for Illinois Tech. They put a 5 spot up in the top of the 8th. We go to the 9th. Scarlet Hawks 3 outs away from a 1-0 start in NAC play. As we go to the ninth, Austin Schnurr back out there for his third inning of work. And, David, I still look back at that fifth inning when Edgewood scored 3 times off of Cameron Bracewell and Alejandro Garcia. But the double play ball that Garcia induced with 1 out and the bases loaded, it's a 10-6 game right now, but if that 3-run inning becomes 6 runs because Garcia can't get out of it, things are a whole lot tighter than they are right now in the ninth.
It's a different ball game. So a big moment from Gary. And that's kind of who he is in the bullpen, is he's supposed to be the big moment guy.
Yeah.
And able to get it done there. And, yeah, like you said, that a lot of run prevention and led to an offensive explosion later in the game. Now puts Illinois Tech out in front 10-6 going into the ninth here.
And then you look back at last inning as Edgewood had runners on second and third with 1 out in the top of the order up that has done so much damage for Edgewood so far today. And Schnurr got Tolliver and Lee to both pop out to end the inning. So Austin did a really nice job battling back and not giving up any runs. And now he's in line for his second W of the year if he can finish this one off. 2-1. Backhanded play by Paxson. He'll underhand flip to Schnurr, and he's out at first. Close play, bang, bang over there, but Paxson did his job. Schnurr got over to the bag quickly. 1 away in the ninth. Here's Kyle Prindle. Shortstop 1 for 3 today with a 2-run single back in that 5th inning.
Yeah, that was a foot race over at first.
PFPs work, man. They pay off. I know pitchers hate them, but
they hate practicing them.
They hate
practicing them. They hate doing them in the games, but
you got to do it. You got to do it.
Got to do it for moments like that.
Fielding your position as a pitcher is such an underrated part of the game. If you can get off the mound quickly and you throw the ball accurately to a base, you see pitchers all the time who, as soon as they get off that mound and they have to make a throw from level ground, they have no idea where that ball is going to go when it leaves their hand.
Well, just even looking back to last inning where Illinois Tech put on the suicide squeeze and Williams wasn't able to field it cleanly. I mean, even if the run scores and you get an out there, that's a big difference maker in that inning.
There's a base hit to right for Prindle, so a 2-hit game for him. Bring up Brevin Brisick now, and Brisick is 1 for 3 with a walk and a single. 4th hit allowed by Schnurr, but all singles. Fastball in there for a strike, and I think that's one of the things that's allowed Austin to be successful now through 2 1/3 is that first pitch. He's getting it over for a strike, getting ahead of most of these hitters.
Definitely. He's getting the fastball in there for a strike to both sides of the plate with command. He's getting it up with command. Philly B put his glove a little bit higher that time, saying that we want to go upstairs again. Put it right there. Very helpful as a pitcher when you can do exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, right. Makes the job a whole lot easier, right? The 0-2.
I mean, you'll see plenty of guys that have days where their pitches are not doing what you want them to do.
1 ball, 2 strikes here on Brisick, 1 out in the ninth. Scarlet Hawks looking for a victory in their NAC opener. There's a ground ball into the hole on the left side. So back-to-back singles against Schnurr. I'll bring up Daniel Bentavegna now, and here comes Coach Z. This is kind of what we talked about, right? You bring Schnurr back out there, and if he gets into any trouble here in the ninth, you go to the pen and try to get the W, and that's what's going to happen here. So good outing from Austin Schnurr, 2 1/3 innings of relief. Illinois Tech will turn it to their bullpen, trying to finish this one out. John Gorey in to try to close things out for the Scarlet Hawks here in Game 1. John's making his 5th appearance of the season. No record, an ERA of 2.08. That's 1 earned run in 4 1/3 innings. 3 hits, a couple of walks, 4 Ks. Opponents are hitting an even 200 off of the senior from Pennsylvania, and he'll face Daniel Bentavegna with 1 out and 2 on and a 4-run lead here in the 9th. Squaring to bunt in the dirt. Collected quickly there by Bentz.
John Gorey is a flamethrower. He by far has the best arm out of the Illinois Tech pitching staff. It's kind of how he's found himself in this closer role. Sits about 88, can get up to 90 if he really wants to.
Fastball in.
I don't know that he's run quite that hard today out in the cold. Doesn't look like it.
Bentavegna squares to bunts. Two and 0. There's a fastball for a strike.
I'm very surprised they're trying to bunt in this situation. They're down 4.
I was thinking that too. You give up an out here, you push the 2 runners into scoring position, but those runs don't really matter if you're Illinois Tech.
Yeah, you don't want to give up any. You only have 2 more outs to play with. I wouldn't want to be giving up a free one.
Fastball in for a strike. Nothing but heat from Gorey so far through the first 4 pitches.
Yeah, he also has a wicked curveball. And you'll see him go to it occasionally. Usually he has a day where one pitch is really on, and then he'll just kind of favor that pitch.
All right, now it's the fastball as he blew that one right past Bentavegna for the strikeout. 2 away here in the 9th. You saw it. The first 2 missed, and then those last 3 all right in there, and that one belt-high fastball. Bentavegna had no shot at it. 2 away now for Ryan Harris. There's another fastball. There's another strike.
Been a lot of speed differences today for the Edgewood hitters. They went from Cam, who's like an 85 guy, to Gary, who's like a 78 to 80 guy, to Schnurr, who's like an 82 guy, and then now to Gorey, who's an 88 guy.
Another fastball, and Harris can't catch up with it. And if you're Phillip Bentz, you don't put anything down other than number 1 here, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You're going fastball top of the zone and making him hit it.
6 pitches, all fastballs so far for Gorey. Pitch number 7 is a fastball right there, called strike 3. So Gorey comes in, strikes out a couple of batters, and picks up the save. Illinois Tech will win Game 1 on the score of 10-6. 10 runs, 14 hits, couple of errors for the Scarlet Hawks. 6-12-3 for Edgewood. The win goes to Austin Schnurr. He improves to 2-0 on the season. The save to John Gorey, pitches 2/3 of an inning, strikes out a couple, picks up his first save of the season. The loss to Aiden Williams, he drops to 0-2. So that's going to do it for game number 1. David and I are going to step aside here for a little bit, try to get warm, and we'll come back with game 2 here in just a little bit. Scarlet Hawks win game 1, 10-6.